Well, I gotta say, Zatima is 2 for 2 in terms of back-to-back weeks with banger episodes. Yes, this video is about Season 2, Episode 13, Never Too Late. And my goodness, last week when I gave Episode 11 a 9.5 out of 10, people were mad at me. Believe it or not, I was going to give this episode a 9 out of 10 until I thought about it a bit more. And no, I did not change it to a 10 out of 10 to appease the fan base. But no, I actually went back over a couple of scenes and reread my notes. And I'm like, the one thing I thought would make this a 9. Nah, I think it balances, the tips the scales, in balance. I'm like 10 out of 10. So yeah, never too late. As always, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe and follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Thanks so much. I think we are a little past the halfway point of 5.5 thousand subscribers on the backup channel. And we should hit 700,000 views in the near future. So yeah, we're moving along on this channel. So always, make sure you share the episode reviews around, because I know Zatima is really the only thing keeping, the numbers going during this kind of dry spell with the family fun night of House of Pain and Zatima, for the next few weeks. So let's jump right in, because the episode does just that. We pick up where we left off with Fatima coming into Dr. Reed's office completely off guard. Turns out Zach was the one that arranged this entire, situation, basically to the point of, look, would you have come if I asked you to? And Fatima, she was kind of iffy on that. It's like, no, I don't know. She was caught off guard, but basically she does take a seat. So it's Dr. Reed, Jeremiah, Zach, Gladys, and Fatima. Basically, Zach wants to speak his piece. Now, a couple things to learn from this scene. First of all, Jeremiah and Zach have different fathers. Zach's dad was a Taylor, Jeremiah's father was a Matthews, and Gladys's name is Davis. So that's the first thing. And, Zach, of course, during the entire ordeal, Jeremiah and Gladys are just, rude as hell to everyone, whether it be calling Fatima out of her name, just snapping on Dr. Reed, and then just the point blank, just trauma that, his family has inflicted on him. Gladys makes it clear that, what, the reason I stayed, I'm the one that stayed. Your daddy, you know what I did? I went to your daddy one time and I said, this is your baby. And he kicked me so hard I almost dropped you. He didn't want you. Nobody wants your ass. And my father was a pimp. He could have been a pimp. I don't know who your father was. So Zach's father, in terms of his identity, is not fully known, which I do find a little ironic here, because it's almost as if Fatima and Zach both have similar situations with their fathers. Well, at least in Fatima's case, she knew who her, birth father was. In Zach's case, that's a bit of a mystery. So from there, he pretty much lets his mom know that, she's the cause of the trauma he's going through and why. And ironically enough, and this happens in both episodes, some of the things that are said or some of the scenarios mirror events from Sistas. And I hate to even reference this, but Sistas season 5, when Karen had the whole letter reading thing, and she was reading the letters, and basically both of them were trashing Zach, blaming him for everything. You know what? Because of you and what you put me through, I can't even love a man who loves me. A good man that loves me. And Zach is pretty much in the same situation, different circumstances, of course, because the thing is, Karen was always free to kick Zach to the curb. She's the one that chose to keep taking him back. Zach was born into this mess. That's his mama. He couldn't pick and choose his mama. So I really think that's one of the defining characteristics of these storylines. The power of choice. Some situations you don't have a choice in, like the family you're born into. Now you have the choice to, disown or walk away or distance yourself from the family, especially if they're toxic family members. And then, when it comes down to it, that's still your blood. When it comes to relationships, You always have a choice. Granted, I know there are situations where you got some crazy people. Like, if you ever leave me, I'm going to kill you or something like that. But I mean, like, in terms of the relationships we see in these shows, Karen, nobody forced her to take Zach back all those times. So for her talking about how Zach did all this damage to her, and that's why she's unable to let, this good man love her in reference to Aaron, that's her own choice. Because she clearly chose to move on in season 2, but then backslid to Zach in season 3 after the whole office sex thing. So, in any case, then, Jeremiah tried to speak up, but, Zach wasn't having that. And, he's like, I went to the pen for you. Look, yeah, you went to jail for me, but keep in mind, when I was like 9 to 17, you had me doing armed robbery with you, saying that, oh, it's no big deal since you're a juvenile. You won't be in, locked up long if you get caught. So basically, it's like, stop acting like I owe you something, holding it over my head that, without you, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now. So basically, it gets to the point where he's done hating himself because of what they've done to him. And these two just want the money so they can go. Basically, Zach said, look, I'll give you some money, but I'm going to speak my piece first. So eventually it gets to the point where they just, take the money and they up and leave. So from there, Dr. Reed gives him props because usually it takes a while for patients, especially new ones, to bring their parents or family members or whoever close to them is the root cause for their trauma. So Fatima's the only one left. And, during this entire ordeal, Fatima's just kind of breaking down because she's witnessing up close and personal the people responsible for Zach being messed up the way he is. So from there, Zach makes it clear that he doesn't want to lose Fatima. That because of what his family's done to him, that's the reason why he isn't able to love her properly, and he's afraid of losing her. Now, all this is sweet and whatnot, and Fatima appreciates the gesture, but the first thing she makes it clear is like, Zach, I don't want you to do therapy for me. I want you to do therapy for yourself. And she sees his pain now and understands him more because, it was right there in front of her. And on top of that, she's been through therapy herself, so she knows about, coming to grips with her inner demons, the causes of them, and how to move forward from that. And look, this is the slight reason I wanted to give this episode a 9. Hear me out. And I gave it a 10. But hear me out. Fatima brings up how Zach made her feel in the elevator during the first part of the season. When Zach saw her and Paul on the elevator and assumed the worst and then trapped him on there again so he can go off for like 10 minutes. She felt like that made her feel so bad that she knew that, I just can't, it's like, it kind of like triggered me and brought up old trauma and whatnot. And the way you made me feel. And look, this is not to discount Fatima's feelings, but yeah, Zach was on a tirade and whatnot, and he was in his feelings. He wasn't listening to Fatima. He wasn't believing Fatima. But the thing about it is, go back to Sistas season 5. How many times did Fatima go off on Zach? She wouldn't believe Zach. And look, there are many examples, but specifically when Angela showed her that photo of Zach and Karen at the salon, what did she do? Just like Zach in the elevator situation, she assumed the worst about her partner. She didn't want to hear anything to the contrary, even if the evidence was right there in front of her. And even worse, never wanted to give Zach the benefit of the doubt. So I do feel like her bringing up the elevator scene, that was a bit, it didn't really fit. That's just my opinion, because I got a little hint of season 5 Fatima where it's like, Zach's feelings be damned. Here's how you made me feel, So that's slightly why I wanted to give the episode less than a 10. But regardless, he's begging and pleading for her to stay, but she does leave. Dr. Reed, pretty much says, hey, Zach, let her go. And then they have a good talk about the situation in regards to, look, you're making progress because, like I said earlier, it's not often that new patients bring in, like family that quickly. So Zach is on the road to, getting better, but it's going to take some time. All right. So at the parking garage at work, Fatima's in her car crying, and, Bob, the fucking builder, comes up, gives her a tissue, and pretty much she doesn't want to talk about it, but they'll go out tonight at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I believe Paul said he would pick her up at Angela's place. So from there, oh man, we go over to Angela's place. Bryce is there because Angela is handing his box of belongings, which isn't much because he didn't have much over there. And Angela's kind of cold. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, if you break up, you break up. That's it. But it's one of those situations where if somebody breaks up, it's like, oh yeah, we'll still be friends and we can hang out and we can talk. But then, she was like, no, I changed my mind. We don't need to hang out. No, we don't need to be friends. And we don't even need to talk. So pretty much from there, Bryce is like, oh, okay then. Well, I just thought that things would change, and no, they haven't. Well, the subject, turns to Zach in regards to the situation with, that, because she does mention the whole thing about, hey, Zach and, Fatima broke up, so he's probably going to be on an emotional warpath, so watch out for that. Oh yeah, well, yeah, he's not really talking to me, now because of the situation, in which I thought he would just get over it. I think we should all just get over it. You mean the kiss? Don't count on it. And that, yeah, I mean, Bryce, I get it, because like Fatima said at the end of season 1, Bryce is a good thing in Zach's life, but I feel like things were a bit rushed with that, like Fatima pushing Zach into talking to Bryce, and it's like, no, he just went through, like, a close friend of his tried to take advantage of him after he made it clear he wasn't into the same sex and whatnot. So that was a huge violation of trust there. So for Bryce to act like, oh, he should just get over it. No. Like I said, I believe that Bryce is indeed a good addition to Zach's life, both professionally and, as a friend. But for that breach of trust, that's not something that's just going to be resolved in 2 episodes or less. You just got to kind of, let it marinate for a little bit. So from there, Fatima comes in and, Bryce is on his way out. So Fatima talks to Angela about the whole therapy session and whatnot. But she's still going to go out with Paul. And it's kind of weird because, Angela's like, wait, are you doing this to punish Zach? Well, no, I just want him to feel bad for what he did. And it's just like, when I thought about the episode again, I'm like, during the therapy session, why didn't Zach tell Fatima then that he didn't sleep with Connie? Especially when his mom, the one who said, I saw you go over there with Connie, why didn't he say that? That was the perfect opportunity. Spoiler alert, he says it, later on in this episode and in the next episode, but the therapy session was the perfect time to say, hey, I didn't bang that chick. I just said it because I was hurt. Just saying. So in any case, she's going out with Paul just because, and I feel like, I'm not saying she can't date because they are broken up, but it just feels like, hey, one car broke down, now you just, hopping in another instead of taking time to heal from the obvious emotional pain you're going through right now. So from there, Zach gets home right as Nate is seen helping Deja out of her car. And if I'm not mistaken, Nate says like he wasn't here to see Deja, but he actually came to see Zach. But, Deja pulled up and, he saw that she needed some help. So, Zach doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And, they know it's like, yo, Deja's like, hey, your face is red. Have you been crying? No, I ain't got time to look. I don't need no hug. You stay over here. You stay over there. Nate, I'm about to go on. Y'all do whatever y'all want to do. It's like, hey, has she been served yet? You need to stop. You need to drop it. And then he goes in the house. So Nathan's like, hey, I'll come in there in a minute. And then basically Nathan has a talk with Deja about the whole situation, about the hot tub incident. And while Deja's running her mouth about it, also, it's funny to see Jazzy playing Deja after seeing Caught Up. It's just cool. So in any case, Nathan actually is speaking sense in regards to the case. Like, first of all, Fatima works at a law firm. Secondly, me and you were trespassing, doing all sorts of things in the hot tub. And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure they got it on camera. So you might want to think twice before trying to sue somebody. And, you know, when he's trying to help her into the house and all, like, close my car door. It's like, yeah, well, let me come in. We can have a drink. So, first of all, Negro, you broke. Your wife done kick you out. You sleeping on Tony's couch. That means we ain't got nothing to say. So, get out of here. So, from there, he goes over to Zach's place. And, you know, while he's trying to confide in Zach, you know, like, hey, man, I want to check on you, see how you're doing and whatnot. And Zach is quick to call him out. Like, look, you, Belinda, everybody else, y'all just want to talk trash. And, you know, y'all were working to break me and Fatima up anyway. So, don't come over here with your fake sincerity trying to, you know, make me feel better. And, you know, before he's finally kicked out, he's like, you know, hey, well, just so you know, I did tell, you know, old girl next door to drop the charges and whatnot. Well, hell, you probably the one that put her up to it. And it's like, no, I didn't, man, I didn't. So he ends up kicking him out because he wants to be alone. And, you know, I believe that final scene. So Angela tells Fatima not to let Belinda's potential presence at the nightclub tonight ruin it for her, because, you know, they're going back to the same club, you know, for dinner. Oh, actually, no. Not to jump too far ahead, but Paul and Fatima go somewhere else for like a restaurant for dinner or something. Then they go to the club. But in any case, earlier in the episode, when Fatima was telling Angela about the date, she was like, "Wait, does Belinda work the club tonight? I do not want to run into her again." Angela did look into it, and yes, Belinda is working at that club that night. But you know, from there, there's a knock on the door, and they think, "Oh, it's Paul," and it's actually Zach. And let me just say this, and it really didn't click until episode 14, but Zach wearing the black shirt and all, and he's wearing the gold chain, literally was Martin during that one episode where he did the, the New Jack City, you know, spoof where he got the stuffed dog trying to get to the bottom of who took my CD player. And I didn't really realize it until episode 14 when he's in the club, but, you know, that's the next review. But essentially, he comes over to talk to Fatima. And this just shows you how childish this shit is. So, Fatima, after realizing it's Zach, she ducks down for cover on the floor. And then Angela's like, she's not here. Fatima, I just saw you. Fine, let him in. The way she got up, I'm like, come on now. So, you know, he goes over there just to, like, express that, look, I love you. And I didn't sleep with Connie. Well, it doesn't matter, Zach, because I've been sleeping with Paul. So I guess we, you know, are just busy sleeping with other people now. And then she winds up leaving. And then Zach is just, you know, dumbfounded by the situation. And it's funny because Angela's like, oh, your ride share is here, Fatima, a.k.a. Paul. Hey, Zach, why don't you stay here? We can talk and drink some wine. So as soon as Fatima leaves, Angela's like, you can go. Well, I thought you said I can have some wine. Well, it's bad wine. You wouldn't want it. Oh, okay. Then have a seat. So pretty much, this is a good scene. I think this is the first time we've seen Angela and Zach just sit and have a real talk session. Seriously. Basically, Angela makes it clear, like, look, when Fatima shuts down and, you know, doesn't allow anybody in her life, she's done. When she's done, she's done. And she pretty much expressed this when he proposed to her by having Ian show up as a prime example of that. But in any case, you know, it's kind of messed up because Zach was all like, you know, that's my girl and, you know, I ain't letting her go. We ain't over. And Angela thankfully spoke for a lot of audience members like, come on, Zach, like, don't do anything stupid because we know how Zach is. But, you know, before he leaves, she mentions like, you know, hey, and try to be nicer to Bryce, you know, he's actually a very good friend and, you know, he's messed up and he just wants to kind of make peace with you. So, you know, he's like, man, wait, we how do we get from Fatima to Bryce? So basically Angela gave him something to think about and then he winds up leaving and that's the end of the episode. So overall, yeah, this was a good episode. I didn't stay up till 3. I kind of laid down for a couple hours, but I watched it like at 5 o'clock or something. It was worth the wait. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and hopefully you will take a moment to like and subscribe and catch the next review, which will be episode 14.